Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Tim, here with my co-com, who is also me, because we're doing something a little bit different here at Speed Force Racing here today for the Dutch Grand Prix, so I'm going to be soloing it all the way. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and get ready for some racing at Zandvoort from the Speed Force Racing League. It's going to be a very fun one. Looks like it's also going to be a potentially wet weather qualifying. Let's take a look at the data here and see just what tires are fitted. The track is dry, at least for now. So you're seeing a lot of drivers go out there on the softs as well as a few drivers on the mediums. So no risk for rain, at least at the time being. However, looking at those skies and looking at how dark it is and looking at the water spray from the back of the cars, I would imagine that that's going to be something that these drivers are going to have to deal with very, very shortly. Actually surprised to see drivers out on the dry tires. However, apparently the track surface isn't too wet, and so far it looks like the Ferraris are actually doing very well. So you see Sonic there on the softs starting his outlap now. A lot of drivers going out on their outlap. Of course, Sonic, he has basically cemented himself as being one of the drivers to beat here in the Speed Force Racing League. So we're going to be taking a look at him today to see just what he can do. So Sonic about to start his flying lap now. Going to ride on board with him. This tricky turn one, it's so hard to get it right. It's very easy to carry too much speed in there, and you don't want to hit that curb too much. Otherwise, you're going to get it spun around. He did not clip the curb at all. Now this turn 3 here, nice high banked left-hander. It's sort of like the oval tracks that I am used to, as I was actually a NASCAR fan before I decided to explore the glorious world of F1. And in this very long, sort of a straightaway, sort of a corner, I absolutely hate that part of the course. This is a very technical circuit, Zandvoort is, and I think that it's going to catch a lot of drivers out here today. But so far, it looks like Sonic has this place down pat. Very, very smooth driving. There you see Need for Speed just ahead of him, actually using a bit of slipstream, so that might actually help Sonic if Need for Speed doesn't hold him up, but I think he's going to unintentionally, and Need for Speed actually getting very loose out of that corner as Sonic hangs on to it, and that's the thing. That's going to be the key here, is just how steady are you? And look at this, Snellweg setting the fastest lap, a 1:10.429. Sonic going to cross the line now. It is a 1:10.460. Need for Speed, a 1:13.015. Energy Dan, a 1:10.498. Racing Bodge, a 1:10.744. Hooky, a 1:11.078. So drivers starting to get their times in, and if it does rain, I think that these are going to be the times to beat and the times that we see and the times that we start on. Don't actually know what the weather forecast is, but it does look like there is a little bit of water actually coming from the back, and there it looks like it is raining a little bit. Going to ride on board with Snellweg. Yes, it is. You see the water falling there. So, dare I say it, Snellweg may have already wrapped up the pole position, and we only have 14 minutes left. So Snellweg more than likely going to come into the pits. Going to take a look now at DJ Clarkson there in the Mercedes. But it looks like he actually had a little bit of a gaggle to get through there. A big bunch of traffic. So Clarkson probably not going to get the best lap time that he's hoping for here. Riding on board with him, though, nonetheless, take a look at his line and how he's doing. Let's turn on the telemetry and take a look at this. So you see the full track map, the lap data, and the telemetry. This is my favorite corner of the whole circuit, that final corner, that high banked right-hander. It is beautiful. Clarkson crossing the line now, only 12, a 1:12.066 for DJ Clarkson. And I dare say that's probably going to be the best that he can do. No one going out on intermediates or wets, however, their race engineer just may be preventing them from that at the time being. Not quite sure. However, it's definitely raining, as you can see from Clarkson's point of view. But going to go take a look at Gamey Things, who is just in front of him. excuse me, hit the wrong button, guys. There we go. We got it situated now. Gamey Thanks in the Red Bull. So he is on his outlap, as you can see there. Looks like a few drivers are now starting to choose the intermediates. Need for Speed on intermediates. However, his best time, a 1:13.0. I don't believe he's going to... Oh my goodness. Not sure what we're watching here. Going to take a look at Bannister, though, because he's coming out of the pits. Bannister, of course, in that Racing Point machine, had a really, really good race last week, rather, in China, where he started outside the top 10, but with strategy was able to rebound to a third place finishing position. So can he do the same today, or can he do it and still start in the top 10? There you see DRS is disabled, so it's raining too hard for DRS to really be enabled by race control. So I do believe that what you see is what you're going to get with Snellweg on the pole. It seems like the wet qualifying conditions, and Bannister spins and into the wall. I was actually kind of waiting for that to happen to somebody. The track was just getting way too wet for them to hang on to it. So Bannister going to have to pull into the pits there and get that repaired if he wants to go out for a lap. He might be able to start somewhere around 15th-ish. It's just the fact that because it's so wet, I don't expect him to have that much grip, to say the least. Of course, why would you have grip in the rain? Even on the intermediates around this track, they just aren't that fast. All right, Jeff Barron in the comments saying Adam for pole. Well, if he's not sitting up there now, I don't think he's going to get there, Jeff. I hate to tell you, because quality will remain wet and a dry race. So we're going to have a dry race, but definitely a wet qualifying, as you can see here. Bannister going into the pits. Looks like that's a Mercedes going into the pits as well. Going to take a look now at Gamey Things still on his outlap. There's the Renault of Gizzelodian. Gizzelodian so far in 15th, a 1:23.235. Bannister has retired from the session, so he's not going to go out there and set a lap. And honestly, it's not really the best thing to do anyway. As I said, they're not going to get a good time. And if the race is going to be dry, there's no use in changing your setup to try to get a pole position if you're going to run a dry race. Because if you run a wet setup in a dry race, you're really dealing with a lot of downforce that you might not need. And in the corners, that's going to be wonderful. You're going to love driving that thing. But going down the straightaways, you're going to be lacking for straight line speed so bad that you're going to wish that you could just climb out of the car and adjust the wing yourself. So a lot of these drivers trying to avoid that. Gamey Things looks like is being credited with the fastest lap, a 1:10.127. I don't believe that's quite accurate, however, because we've just seen that he was on his outlap that time. So I'm not sure what's going on there. So I'm going to assume Snellweg's still on the pole, but we're going to take a look at Gamey Things anyway, just see how he can get around this course on the soft tires. We got a few people in the chat, though, who are fans of the wet at Zandvoort. Someone saying this track is amazing in the wet. Well, I'd say that there's a few drivers that disagree with that, especially Bannister, since he's already spun and hit the wall and decided to disqualify himself, or DNF rather, from this current session. So Gamey Things is not our pole sitter. However, he may be credited as such due to technical difficulties outside of our control. So for those watching at home, just to let you know that. However, if he does get the pole, congratulations to Gamey Things, even though it was Snellweg who set the fastest time, a 1:10.429. So a little bit of technical errors that we still have to work out. Well, we don't have to work out. It's beyond our control, as I've said. Looks like that's an AlphaTauri behind Gamey Things. Is that... No, that is not an AlphaTauri. That is a Williams. The Williams of Santa... So Sanath 1987 in that Williams, his best time a 111.124. He's on the intermediates now, which I would imagine so, but he is diving down into the pits. He does not want to bother with driving around this racetrack any further. So here in just a minute, I want to update you on our point standings. After 4 rounds, we've got Snellweg sitting on top of the board with 55 points to DJ Clarkson with 53, and of course Bannister in third with 41 points. So it is a McLaren Mercedes Racing Point. Top 3 in the standings right now for Speed Force Racing GP4 Series. There you see You Can Beat Me out in the Renault on his intermediate tires. His best time, a 111.990. Good enough for P11 at the time being. Of course, I don't expect him to improve on that lap time on those intermediate tires, but giving him a little bit more practice time to sort of know the track, even though he really does not have the same braking points in the wet as he would in the dry. Maybe he just decided to go out there just for a little bit of fun. I mean, might as well. We have a little bit over 6 minutes remaining, and honestly, if I could go out there right now just for fun to set a qualifying lap and then come back into the booth for the race, I certainly would, just to kind of give you an idea of what it's like driving around this track. Though I must say, I don't believe I have much experience driving around in the wet, so that would not exactly be something pretty. I may go in the wall, I may go off in the gravel, I might be able to keep it on track, but how slow the lap would be, I don't know. But I love this track in the dry. It is beautiful, and we're going to see a dry race. There you saw, actually, You Can Beat Me hitting the wall just a little bit coming out of that right-hander, so oof, that's all I can say. And that's probably what the car said, too. Looks like the wing is okay. Good thing that that happened in qualifying and not the race. If that happens in the race, he could be in for a world of trouble. Now, You Can Beat Me, he's actually sitting 13th in the points right now. And he's only got about 3 points to his name. So not having the best of luck so far in this season. But he can still turn things around. A little over 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Still waiting to see who's going to get pole. Because I'm not sure if Gamey Things is going to be credited with the pole or not, because he did not actually set that 110.127. It was a technical glitch. Not to take away from Gamey Things. Of course, I'm sure that Gamey Things could have done it on his own merit had the qualifying session remained dry. But before it started raining, Snellweg was able to set the fast lap of a 110.429. However, we're not sure if he's going to be credited with the pole or not. So really, You Can Beat Me is the only one that we can take a look at. However, it does look like we can take a look at his Renault teammate of Gizelodian. So taking a look at Gizelodian now, his best time, a 123.235 in the 16th position. That's the last driver to actually set a time, because Bannister, Kvyat Torpedo, and Kara both not setting a lap time. Kara actually being disqualified from the qualifying session. Not sure what happened to Kara, but I don't think it's going to matter, because as you can see, it is basically a typhoon out there. Well, maybe not a typhoon. We are on the intermediate tires, but it's a steady pace. It is definitely water falling from the sky, thus making the track so very slick. 3 minutes, 35 seconds remaining. Just watching cars going around in the rain. What you see, though, is what you get on the time. So let's just ride on board here with Gizelodian. Now, imagine if we were going to have a wet race. I have received word that it is going to be a dry race for those of you just tuning in. But if we did have a wet race, you kind of get the idea of what the pace would be. taking it so very easy into these corners, and got to be so very careful to not get on the throttle too soon. Otherwise, you're going to spin, which you run a risk of doing that even in the dry. The power to weight ratio on these cars is just so significant that you get on the throttle too soon, you're going to spin those tires and you're going to spin. And that doesn't matter if it's wet or dry, but in the wet, it becomes increasingly more likely that you do that. So you've got to be so very careful, and that's what you see Gizolodian doing. I guess he's trying to improve his lap time. I mean, he might as well. He doesn't have to start on those intermediate tires. I just don't think that he's going to be able to. But you got to give him an A for effort. I mean, I'll say that much. Because it's only him, Proliver, and You Can Beat Me out on track. Some of the drivers that didn't have the best qualifying session when the track was dry. So they're just going out there on the intermediates just to kind of give it a chance. They have nothing to lose. They might as well try. We've got a little over a minute remaining. The Chaos in Turn 1 is also an auto spin curb to it. More interesting is what Mad G is saying in the comments on the YouTube stream. And Mad G, I'm going to say I pretty much agree with you there. That Turn 1 is a doozy. You got to get it just right, because if you go too wide, you hit that curb and boom, you're around. You also got to be careful to not hit the inside curb. And if you go any further than the inside curb, you're in the wall and your day's definitely done after that. Gizolodian just putt-putting around the track. All he can really do here. I honestly wonder if the wet weather tires would be a little bit quicker. There you see Gizolodian actually diving down into the pits now. So that's our last driver that was out on track, with the exception of the Mercedes of Proliver here. So going to ride on board with him now, also on the intermediate tires. And he gets into the wall. So he's going to dive down into the pits. Give that car a little bit of a break. So if we were having a wet weather race, that is something that you would have to look out for. Is I've seen about 3 different drivers hit that wall coming out of that final corner. It's just so high banked that you can carry so much speed through there, but then when it flattens out, it's like it just pushes the car up toward the wall and there's nothing you can do. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Qualifying is officially over. Who will be credited with the pole? It is going to be Gamey Things with a 110.127. Snellweg in second, a 110.429. A 110.460 to Sonicok in third. Energy Dan in fourth, a 110.498. In fifth, Racing Podge. Hookie in 6th, Fanny Lion in 7th, Saneth 1987 in 8th, Shadow Lancer in 9th, Psychomich in 10th, You Can Beat Me in 11th, DJ Clarkson 12th, Proliver 13th, Need for Speed in 14th, Kenzo in 15th, Gizolodian in 16th, and Bannister, Kibiat Torpedo, and Kara did not get 2 set of times, so they're going to be lining up 17th, 18th, and 19th here for the Dutch Grand Prix. So there you see the nice dry weather. Trying to turn to the YouTube comments and talk to you guys. However, I am having some technical difficulties of my own on my phone. So I apologize for that. We're going to try to get that sorted here in just a moment. So cannot talk to any of you in the comments at the time being, but welcome to each and every one of you to the Speed Force Racing League GP4 Series Dutch Grand Prix, where qualifying has just finished. Gamey Thing sitting on pole with Snellweg lining up in second. Going to start the formation lap here very soon. Then we'll be able to get underway for a dry race here at Zandvoort. First time that this series has visited this track at Zandvoort. So something a little bit new for these drivers. 2 new tracks in a row, as last week we were, or excuse me, 2 new tracks in the past 2 weeks, because 2 weeks ago we were at Vietnam, last week in China, and now this week in Zandvoort. So I'm sure that these drivers have plenty of practice laps around this track, but do they have any laps in competitive racing in the GP4 series for Speed Force Racing? No. So this is a relatively new track to all of these drivers. A lot of them already getting DQ'd from the formation lap, but fear not. They will be transported to the front of the grid and be able to line up in their appropriate positions. So just to update you on our starting lineup, Gamey Things on the pole, Snellweg in second, Sonichawk in the Ferrari in third, Energy Dan in the AlphaTauri in fourth, another Ferrari of Racing Podge in fifth, Hookie in the AlphaTauri in sixth, the Red Bull of Fanny Lion in seventh, of course, Saneth and Shadowlancer, 8th and 9th, both in the Williams. Psychomich in the Haas Machine in 10th. You Can Beat Me in the Renault in 11th. DJ Clarkson in the Mercedes in 12th. The other Mercedes of Proliver in 13th. The Alfa Romeo of Need for Speed in 14th. The Racing Point of Kenzo in 15th. Gizolodian in the Renault in 16th. The other Racing Point of Bannister in 17th. Kvyat 26 Torpedo in 18th. 19th is Kara in the McLaren. That is your starting lineup for the Speed Force Racing League GP4 Series Dutch Grand Prix. There you see them rounding that final corner, that huge high banked right-hander. Going to find their appropriate starting positions, going to line up, start this race here very shortly. Going to try to answer your comments here in just a moment. The starting tires. You want to see these starting tires. Okay. There are your starting tires. Mostly soft tires. A few mediums they're mixing it up, but here we go. We are ready. Those drivers watching the lights. You hear those itchy pedal feet. You hear those engines revving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the air. No red lights. We are green for the Speed Force Racing League GP4 Series Dutch Grand Prix. Gamey Things out to an early lead, leading him down into turn 1, followed by Snellweg and Sonichawk. Your top three at the time being going to ride on board with Sonichawk, but it looks like there was a little bit of a mix-up for position and even a spin there in the back going through turn 1. Not sure who it was. It might have been a Racing Point machine. I think it might have been Kenzo, who's in 15th now, riding on board, though, with Sonichawk as he gives chase to the McLaren of Snellweg. Snellweg and Sonichawk have been the fast drivers here in this series the past few weeks, just trading wins and trading positions each and every race. Now running second and third, continuing their mostly dominance of running up front. Of course, they're both chasing Gamey Things in that Red Bull. Racing Podge in fourth, just behind them. So riding on board now with Racing Podge, trying to chase down his Ferrari teammate. But these drivers, they don't have a lot of practice in the dry. All they had was the qualifying in the wet, about 5 minutes of dry racing at best. Or dry qualifying, rather. So you see that number 61, Ferrari of Racing Podge. As we complete the first lap, it will be Gamey Things who leads us. Going to take a look at him now. He is 0.7 seconds, 7/10 of a second ahead of Snellweg, who just set the fastest lap of a 1:17. So Gamey Things, Snellweg, Sonichawk, Racing Podge, Energy Dan, and Hookie, your top 5. Or top 6, rather. Looks like Racing Podge is starting to actually gain on Sonichawk here. And he goes a little wide, actually. So Sonichawk goes wide. That allows Racing Podge to get up underneath him. So now move Sonichawk up into the 4th position. We still got Gamey Things in the lead. There you see the predicted pit stop strategy. You can do a soft hards or a soft mediums. I think some of these drivers might try a soft medium, so we'll have to wait and see. There you see Gamey Things lead him down and about to start the 3rd lap, so DRS is going to be enabled very shortly. Might help some of these drivers with a few overtakes. Snellweg, though, still setting the fastest time now. Racing Podge, a 1:13.364. DRS is now enabled. However, it looks like there's a lot of drivers who are actually not within DRS range. Going to take a look, though, at Shadowlancer because he is at the time being. And look, Fanny Lion even behind him. So you got Psychomit, Shadowlancer, and Fanny Lion battling it out for the 6th, 7th, and 8th positions here. Gaming Things, of course, still leading them. Looks like Energy Dan has actually went into the pits and fitted the medium tire, so there must have been some contact there that made him change his front wing. However, I'm surprised that he did not go for the hard tires if he pitted like that. But he's back out on track now. It looks like in the 17th position, so very unfortunate for Energy Dan. Let's take a look now at Shadow Lancer trying to chase down that Haas machine of Psychomich. So Psychomich getting a very good exit out of that corner. Actually starting to be able to pull away from Shadow Lancer. I expected that Shadow Lancer would have been able to get by him as close as he was before DRS was activated, but he is not yet. So lap 4 now, we got a yellow flag in Sector 1 as now Shadow Lancer goes underneath Psychomich in turn 1, drives it in deep and is able to make it stick, so move Shadow Lancer up in position. Fanny Lion and Kvyat Torpedo also battling it out, so the other Haas car right on the back of that Red Bull. He's trying to get by, but just cannot quite do it, so he's going to have to follow Fanny Lion around, follow his line, try to figure out where he's weak and see where he can make a pounce. So now riding on board with Fanny Lion, as he's starting to reel in Psychomich now, and he might be able to make the pass sooner rather than later. Sounds like he's got the DRS, but he's not able to do a lot with it. He can keep close to Psychomich, but can't really make a move. Of course, Fanny Lion on those medium tires, Psychomich on those soft tires. That might be what's the real difference here, is that Psychomich just has enough life in those soft tires to keep them ahead of Fanny Lion for the time being. However, coming out of this right-hander, looks like Fanny Lion's going to go underneath in there side by side at the line, going down to turn 1. Fanny Lion. Fanny Lion moving up in front of Psychomich. So Gaming Things, of course, still in the lead. Pay no attention to the leaderboard over there. That is not quite accurate, but we are going to take a look at Snellweg, and right on board with him there, you see Gaming Things just ahead of him. Now, just behind Snellweg, we do have Racing Podge there in the Ferrari, along with Sonic Hawk just behind him. Racing Podge is in DRS range, but only just as he gets a little loose, gets into the throttle a little too soon there through that corner. And that actually lost him a lot of time. Now he is no longer within DRS range. We got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think whatever it has been cleaned up, so no harm, no foul there. We will remain green. Lap 6 of 36, and I imagine that the guys on the soft tires are going to be pitting within the next 3 or 4 laps, give or take. So we'll be looking for pit stops to start rather soon. Looks like Kenzo is officially out of this session now, so a DNF for Kenzo, unfortunately. Racing Podge now back within DRS range of Snellweg for that second position. But only just. Snellwegging a little bit faster through those corners there. Able to stay ahead. Looks like Snellweg is starting to reel in Gaming Things for the lead. So riding on board with him there, you see how close it is. And I don't think that Gaming Things is going to be in the lead for long. I think Snellweg is about to take that opportunity. Snellweg, Gaming Things, both on the soft tires, however. So they have about the same tire life. So that shouldn't be much of a factor, though. Maybe Snellweg's done a little bit of a better job hanging on to it. There you saw a little bit of smoke actually coming out from the back of Racing Podge, just barely getting into that shot there. So Racing Podge might have actually locked him up going into that corner. Did not see exactly what happened. We're going to take a look at him, make sure that everything is okay going around that first corner. Looks like he is all right. Using every bit of curb that he can, but being so very careful. So now approaching this high banked left-hander, very short one of almost a hairpin actually. So not an easy turn to take at all. The high banking definitely makes it a lot better but it's definitely not ideal, and you've got to still hit it just right if you want to get through it quickly. But Racing Podge definitely losing ground to Snellweg in the McLaren now, while Sonicok, his Ferrari teammate there, you see riding on board with him, getting closer to Racing Podge. So we're going to take a look back now at Snellweg. He's reeling Gamey Things in. Gamey Things, there might be an issue with the car. Might be a communication issue there between Gamey Things in his car. Not sure if that is the case or not, but nonetheless, Snellweg doesn't care. He just wants to get around him. He might be able to do it this time, but no, not quite. Sonicok, though, setting the fastest lap, a 1:13.019 for that Ferrari driver. Sonicok has been able to get by his Ferrari teammate of Racing Podge. So there you see Sonicok leaving Racing Podge in the dust. So Sonicok and Snellweg running 2-3, much like we've seen most of this season. So there you see the gap to Snellweg, or the lack of seeing a gap, rather, because you cannot see Snellweg from Sonicok's point of view. Until you get to the very low speed corners, you can just barely catch a glimpse of him up there. But that is a 2.7 second gap that you're looking at between Sonicok and Snellweg. So going to take a look now for just a moment at Proliver, because it looks like he is in a battle between Bannister and Sycamich. Sycamich going the wrong way, dropping back. He's already in P7. So Proliver going to try to change that and get by him as well. He's going to have the DRS, but I don't think it's going to be close enough to do anything with it. Sycamich a setting duck as they go through, and then there's going to be contact between Bannister and Proliver. Bannister just trying to send it and fill that gap into the corner, not able to do so. So there was contact, maybe some wing damage on that Racing Point machine. Everything looks intact, but there still might be a little bit of minor wing damage that we're not seeing. We'll have to wait and see for that. Looks like Proliver's going to go try to make a move on Sycamich, going on the inside in turn one. They are side by side. No contact between those two. There is actually contact, and Proliver spins. Proliver spins and into the wall. There's definitely some damage on that front wing, so that is not a happy camper in that Mercedes of Proliver there. Dropping back to the 9th position after contact with Sycamich, and to me, that just really looked like a racing deal. Sycamich was trying to pinch him down a little bit, and then they just ran out of room on the exit because that corner, it really does just kind of tighten up. So they tightened up, two cars trying to take up the same amount of real estate, not able to do it, and around went Proliver. Sycamich might have a little bit of damage, but he hit the side, so I think he's going to be okay. Bannister, however, starting to reel in Sycamich now. It looks like that Haas machine got slowed up from that wreck there. So Bannister thought about making the move that he did on Clarkson, not able to do so. Backed out of it, very smart there. Just not, that's really not a corner that you can make an overtake on. You can, but you've got to start it way earlier. If you start it after the second half of that straightaway, you're done for. You don't want to do it. You just want to back out, because if you send it, there's going to be a wreck. So it looks like Sonicok has taken the lead now, because Snellweg has went into the pits for a fresh set of brand new tires. Let's take a look at Gamey Things, see where he is now. I do believe that Gamey Things might still be in front of Snellweg, actually. So there is Fanny Lion. Fanny Lion and Snellweg. Snellweg trying to get by the Red Bull teammate of Gamey Things. Not sure where Gamey Things is in relative to Snellweg. For those of you just joining in, if you are a little confused, the leaderboard on the left is not entirely accurate. Gamey Things before the pit stops was leading, not sure where he is now, so that is where the confusion on my part is coming from, and likely where the confusion on your part is coming from. So just bear with us there as Snellweg needs his car to bear with him as he gets on the curb and has to dance around with it. Dancing the do-si-do and the two-step and all kinds of other dance moves that I don't know. So it's a good thing we're dancing with cars instead of people here. Snellweg going on the inside of Fanny Lion. A very easy pass there into turn one. Now he's got his sights set on Shadow Lancer, and the Williams going to go underneath him, but Shadow Lancer going to put up a little bit of a fight. but I think he's on old softs. Yes, he is. So Shadow Lancer surrendering the inside, but not enough room for Snellweg to get through. He thought about a crossover, but not able to do anything. So he's going to have DRS here in just a moment. The question is he close enough to make a move? He's got the fresh tires, so that's helping him out tremendously. But I don't think he's going to be close enough to really make a move on Shadow Lancer unless he absolutely sent it, and that would not be the best thing to do. He didn't need the DRS, though. He already got underneath him. He might be able to make this move work. He will have the DRS now. They're still side by side. A little bit of contact there. Shadow Lancer staying in front of him for now. Snellweg almost spinning out. Hanging on to it. A good bit of driving from Snellweg. No wing damage that I can see from that contact. Hopefully for Snellweg there is no minor wing damage that he has to deal with. Will he be able to get Shadow Lancer now? Heading down into turn 1, they're going to be side by side when they get there. Snellweg, Shadow Lancer. Snellweg with the advantage and getting in front of Shadow Lancer and clears him. Looks like Sonic has pitted, and he's pitted for the hard tires. That is an interesting strategy there. Sonic pitting for the hard tires, so it looks like Snellweg is going to do a 2-stop strategy because he has pitted for the brand new softs, as I've said. So look for him to take the medium tires in about 10 laps time. Now he's got his sights set on Need for Speed. Remember, still not sure where Gamey Things is in this mix, but Snellweg making his way through the field and driving fast through here. Able to get into third and past Need for Speed, though I do believe that Need for Speed is a lapped car, so... but I'm not sure about that. Racing Podge now, but a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so that's our leader. Let's take a look at him. Trying to figure out where maybe he cut a corner, but he's going into the pits anyway. Will he serve the 3-second time penalty first, or will he just go out? So there you see the Ferrari diving into the pits. They will not serve this 3-second time penalty. He's going on the hard, so he's going to do a 1-stopper. That puts Hooky in the lead, but he's in the pits as well, also doing a 1-stopper. So that surrenders the lead to Snellweg. So that must mean that Gamey Things has dropped down significantly somewhere. So let's take a look and see where maybe Gamey Things is. Is that Snellweg just ahead of him? Yes, it is. That is Snellweg. So it is Snellweg in first, Gamey Things in second. So that would put Shadow Lancer in third for the time being. So Shadow Lancer trying to chase down Need for Speed. Not sure where Need for Speed falls into any of this. He is being scored as 17th, but I'm not sure if that is entirely accurate or not. So bear with me here on this one. Let's take a look now, though, at Need for Speed, since he's here. Right on board with him. There you see Gamey Things in front of him. So I actually do believe that it's Snellweg, Gamey Things, Need for Speed, then Shadow Lancer, your top 4 for the time being. It's unfortunate we have to deal with these issues, but we're going to power through it because in the name of racing, in the name of esports, that's what we got to do. So Snellweg on the 2-stop, Sonic and Racing Podge, and Hooky on the 1-stop. Let's see which one is able to prevail. Looks like Shadow Lancer dove down into the pits. What is he going to take? Currently on those soft tires, 13 laps, so I'd say he just about got his use out of him. He's going to go on the 1-stop. So the Williams of Shadow Lancer going on the hard tires now. Lap 14 up 36, and Need for Speed has spun. Did he hit the wall? I don't think he did. But, oh, that was so very close, and he is in a bad position. He's going to have to try to get this thing turned around and quickly. So Need for Speed has spun. Very unfortunate for him. Just looked like he lost the back end there. So there you see Snellweg, Gamey Things just behind him. About a second or two is the gap there. Snellweg very much in command of this race. So Snellweg, Gamey Things, Fanny Lion, Sonic Hawk, Racing Podge, and Hooky, your top 6. Riding on board now with Sonic Hawk as he's trying to chase down Fanny Lion. Fanny Lion on those old medium tires. He's going to have to pit soon, but I suspect that he could stay out there for another 2 to 5 laps depending on his tire wear. However, if he pit now, I would imagine that would be in his window. But he is not going to pit just yet. However, Sonic Hawk going to go by him down through turn 1. Will he be able to clear him? Yes, he does. He cleared him before he got there. So on the exit, Sonic Hawk going to pull away from Fanny Line in that Red Bull. So now he's just going to have to worry about Sonic Hawk's teammate of Racing Podge. Racing Pod's not quite close enough to make a move before they got to that corner. Right on board with Racing Pod, you can see that he is eating away at the gap just a very little bit. 0.3 of a second separating these two drivers at the time being. Fading line getting a little bit loose through that corner. That is a very difficult corner to take. You have to be so careful, and you actually have to slow way down as well as get the racing line in. Otherwise, you're going to go very wide. If you go too wide, you're off the track, and you got a time penalty. So fading line looks like he's struggling. Looks like Racing Pod is struggling too, having to turn right through that left-hand corner. That number 81 Ferrari. Fanny Lion diving into the pits now, so that gives Racing Podge the 4th position. Snellweg, Gaming Thing, Sonicock, and Racing Podge with Hooky, your top 5 now. Bannister moving into the 6th position on those old medium tires. He's going to have to pit soon, but I think he's going to be okay, at least for another lap. Again, depends on how much he's been able to conserve those tires, but I suspect that he will pit sooner rather than later. The question is, does he go hard tires? And I would imagine he does go the hard tires. He's going to try to do the one-stopper here. It just doesn't make sense to do a two-stop and get softs twice. It's sort of like the reverse strategy of what Snellweg is doing, a soft, soft, medium. Bannister could do a medium, soft, soft. But I feel like that would really cost him a lot of time, and that his best bet on getting the best finishing position possible is trying to stay out as long as he can on those medium tires and still keep pace, and then dive down into the pits, get the hard tires, and just stay out there. If we have a safety car, pull in, put some soft tires on, and go for broke. But if we don't have a safety car, you just gotta ride around and hang out, just try to get a good points day. Bannister, of course, did very well at that last week at China. He started outside the top 10, was able to rebound and make his way up to 3rd. On a one-stop strategy, he entered on the hard tires, so he might be able to do the same thing here today. He is going to go for at least another lap, so not going to the pits this time is that Racing Point machine. Riding on board with him, he sees absolutely nothing in front of him. Normally that means that you're in the lead, but for Bannister it does not. The field has gotten spread out here, so Bannister not exactly where he wants to be, but still not a bad position nonetheless. He just did not have a good qualifying position, and by good qualifying position, I mean he did not get to set a time. It was a wet qualifying session. We only had about 4 minutes of dry weather, and Bannister did not get out in time to set that time. So there you see Hooky in the AlphaTauri, trying to chase down Racing Podge in the Ferrari. He has DRS, but again, this is not really a section of track that DRS is going to be that advantageous. It's a very short straightaway, and it's just so very hard to make a pass. And then there's a Ferrari in the wall. Is that Sonicock? Yes, that is Sonicock. He must have spun coming out of that right-hander, and now he's going into the pits. So unfortunate for Sonicock. He's been one of the dominant forces in Speed Force racing here this season in the GP4 series, and now he's going to have to pit for another set of hard tires. No, it looks like they're actually putting the mediums on. I guess he didn't have anything else to do. So Sonicock going to serve a time penalty as well, it looks like. So unfortunate day for Sonicock. I would have loved to have seen what led to that. But coming through that right-hander as we were riding on board with Hooky, I just saw the Ferrari in the wall, so a bad day for Sonicock now. Take a look now at Hooky once more. Still trying to chase down that Racing Podge machine. So Snellweg, Gamey Things, Racing Podge, Hooky, Shadowlancer. Your top 5 for the time being. Gonna just double check on that though. Take a look at Gamey Things to make sure he is somewhere near Snellweg. Of course, do remember, if you have just joined us, there is an issue with the scoring. So pay no mind to him being scored in the 18th position. He is, in fact, in 2nd. Riding on board with Racing Podge here in just a moment. There you see Gamey Things just right up there in that Red Bull, just a little bit. Racing Podge just not quite close enough to do much with it, though. Looks like Hookie is starting to gain on Racing Podge, though. That Ferrari better be looking in his mirror. Looks like Hookie has found something. He has kicked it into high gear. He is chasing down Racing Podge with a passion, with a fire in his eyes. And that's for the final spot on the podium. Lap 19 up 36 here in the Speed Force Racing GP4 Series Dutch Grand Prix. So let's take a look now, just for a moment, at Proliver. He's starting to, as he locks up the left front there, he is starting to gain on Energy Dan, running in 10th. Of course, Proliver in 11th at the time being. Now, Energy Dan does have a time penalty, I do believe. So with that time penalty, that would put Proliver ahead of him, assuming that Proliver does not have one for himself. There you see Energy Dan chasing down the Haas machine of Psychomich. Psychomich looks like he's on the one-stop strategy, as he's taking the hard tires and has only lasted 6 laps on him so far. But Energy Dan, I'm almost wondering if those are fresh mediums instead of old mediums as what we're seeing, because he is reeling in Psychomich. So it looks like it's got to the point to where Energy Dan has actually been held up by Psychomich. That's allowing Proliver to get so very close. So we've got a battle here for the 9th position. And you could throw a blanket over these 3 cars. And now Sonic, a bad day getting worse. A 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings for that Ferrari driver. First he spins, then he pits. Now he's got a 3-second time penalty. Things just are not going his way here today. But Energy Dan sent it into turn 1. Does he hang on to it? No, he does not. So Psychomich still ahead of him. But hats off to Energy Dan on the effort, I'll give him that much. And he did a good job of keeping it out of the gravel. If you touch that gravel, your day is basically done. Sure, you can get out of the gravel, but how long until you get out of the gravel, and how much time have you lost? So let's ride on board with Proliver. He seems to have a very good view. He thought about going on the inside of Energy Dan there, but thought better of it. No way really that pass was going to work, so a good move from Proliver to back out there. He's still just trying to chase down Energy Dan. He had DRS there that time. You heard the beep and he activated it. But again, that straightaway is just so short that you really can't do a whole lot with it. It's like the second useless DRS zone next to the one at the Hungaro ring. And you know which one I'm talking about, right there out of the first corner. Proliver going on the inside of Energy Dan, though. Side by side through turn 1, and there's contact! Proliver going into the wall and losing his front wing. That is not going to be good for Proliver. That is the second time he's hit the wall here today. Not going to be a happy camper in the Mercedes at all. And I did not see quite what initiated that. Energy Dan might have came down just a little bit. Both cars were side by side through turn 1. It might have just tightened up, but it wasn't on the exit. It was right there on the entry. So I really don't know if Proliver came up or if Energy Dan came down. So nonetheless, very unfortunate. Now it looks like Snellweg has pitted for his fresh medium tires. So going to complete his first lap on those tires now. So that gives Hookie the lead with Racing Podge in second. But let's take a look at Gamey Things. Let's make sure where he falls into this mix. Because Gamey Things might actually be in the lead? Cannot tell, so for the time being, but yes, he is actually. See you there you see him. Gamey Things in front of Hooky, so it is Gamey Things, Hooky, Racing Pod, your top three. Snellweg in fourth, trying to chase down these drivers. He's on the two-stop strategy, so he went soft, and mediums. These drivers taking the one stop on the hards. The question is, does Snellweg have enough life in those medium tires to be able to catch them? I know he's got enough to make them last to the end of the race, but does he have enough speed in them to catch these drivers? Because with them having 9 laps on those hard tires, that's when those tires really start to come alive. It's once you got a few laps on them, the hard tires, they really start to get speed. It's what a lot of people have told me. So it looks like Snellweg is starting to catch these drivers in front of him, Hooky and Racing Pods, respectively. Riding on board with him, you can just barely see him up there. So Snellweg going through the grass, actually, almost bend it. Did a good job hanging on to it. I thought for a minute he was going to go off the track and into the wall. Got to be very careful not to clip that grass. I think Snellweg did just about all he could do there. If you do clip the grass, you want to do it exactly like Snellweg just did, because he saved it just barely. So a good piece of driving from Snellweg. It looks like, though, that, yes, Hooky has caught Gamey Things. So this is the battle for the lead that you're looking at here. So it's a 3-car battle between Gamey Things, Racing Podge, and Hooky. Snellweg just barely back there, riding and watching it. Gonna try to stick his nose into the mix here soon, but he's got to catch him first. He's on fresh tires, so he should be able to do it. The question is, how much life do those medium tires have? So you can beat me now, a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Definitely not what he wanted to see. Still watching the battle for the lead between Gamey Things and Hooky, and Racing Podge there in the Ferrari. Gonna ride on board with Racing Podge. Gives us the best view of what's going on here. Hooky looks like he's really starting to kick it into high gear, perhaps using all the overtake mode that he can. There you see Racing Podge, he actually kicked it into overtake mode. You see that little green on the steering wheel there. Snellweg, the fastest lap on medium tires, a 1:12.344 for Snellweg, so he is gaining on him. Let's ride on board with him. He's got to be close to Racing Podge by now. There you see just about a half a second separating these two drivers. Snellweg, of course, your points leader. However, he's going to extend that lead regardless, as long as he can finish where he is, because his nearest competitor, that of which is DJ Clarkson, he is running in 10th place. However, Hooky might have a good points day here. He is currently in 4th in the point standings. So Hooky running in 2nd right now, definitely enjoying that. But now look at that, there is a battle for the lead between Hooky and Gamey Things. So let's take a look at that. Gamey Things down low, Hooky on the outside, going through turn 1. They're going to be side by side. Hooky making the move for the lead, and there you go. A little bit of contact there between the two drivers. Just a little bit, but no harm, no foul. Move Gamey Things down to 2nd, move Hooky up into 1st. So a good point stake, getting a little bit better there for Hooky, but he's going to have to hang on to it. And then more contact between Racing Podge and Gamey Things as well. So Gamey Things just dropping like a rock here. So Gamey Things, in the matter of 4 corners, went from 1st to 3rd. Now Snellweg going to try to get by him for that third position. Snellweg, of course, is the driver who could not get by Gaming Things early on in this session. And there you see side by side now. Snellweg will have the DRS, but I feel like Gaming Things will as well. So it's going to be DRS battle down this straightaway, but Gaming Things actually backs out and lets Snellweg by. So very good sportsmanship there. Snellweg completing the pass, move him up into third. So now our top three is accurate. Hooky, Racing Podge, Snellweg, 1, 2, and 3. Lap 27 of 36. Now it is lap 28 of 36. So less than 10 laps to go here in the Speed Force Racing Series GP4 Dutch Grand Prix. Hooky, Racing Podge, Snellweg battling it out for the lead. Snellweg on a two-stop strategy. Hooky and Racing Podge on a one-stop strategy. Which one is better? Which one's going to be the one to win this race? Hooky would increase his point standings today if he finishes where he's running right now. He is tied with points with Bannister. Bannister running in 6th. So not the best day for him, but a decent, consistent day nonetheless. Snellweg would increase his points lead over DJ Clarkson if he finished the race where he is running in. And Racing Podge going on the inside. He used the DRS zone to get by Hooky. And now Snellweg following him through. So now it is a 4-car battle for the lead. And Hooky is dropped down into 2nd. Snellweg has moved up into 1st. And Racing Podge has dropped down to 3rd. So it went from Racing Podge to 1st to now Snellweg in 1st. My goodness. Take a look at the point standings and then everything just changes. They're trying to make a liar out of me. That's exactly what they're doing. So Snellweg will definitely increase his points lead now, as he is leading this race. Racing Podge, though, still in a good position here in 3rd and close to these drivers. Hooky running in 2nd. Snellweg pulling away from him. Those fresh mediums is definitely doing him a world of wonders. Snellweg getting into the grass there just a little bit. So it looks like Hooky is actually getting a little bit quicker than Snellweg now. But he's not going to be if he keeps clipping the grass like that, I'll tell you that, especially through that right-hander. You'd want to be very careful there. Racing Podge is going into the pits, so he cannot last on the hard tires. So is he going to go for the fastest lap? Is he fitting softs? Yes, he is. So Racing Podge no longer able to fit the soft tire, or excuse me, make the hard tires last, is fitting the soft tires to try to go for the fastest lap here. So that moves Shadow Lancer up in position. So Shadow Lancer now in 3rd. Hooky in 2nd, and actually dropped back from Snellweg now. So it seems like Hooky is good in sectors 2 and 3, where Snellweg is really good in that first sector. However, that might be all he needs, as now Hooky's not even within DRS range. So all Snellweg has to do is keep him out of DRS range, and he should be golden on this win. Lap 30 of 36, 7 laps remaining here in this race here, the Dutch Grand Prix, the Speed Force Racing Series. Six laps to go now as Snellweg crosses over the line. So it looks like DJ Clarkson is going to drop significantly in the points because he is very close to Snellweg, only about 5 points or so separating them, more or less. But with him running in 11th, he's not going to score any points today. And of course, you got to feel bad for Sonic Hawk. If you've just joined us, he actually spun quite a few laps ago out of the final corner, got into the wall, so he had to dive down into the pits, get a front wing change, and put on a different set of tires. That is why he's running back there in the 7th position. Otherwise, he would have been somewhere in the top 5. Probably around where Racing Podge is now, running in 5th on those fresh soft tires. Lap 32 of 36 now. Snellweg looks to be set for a very easy victory. Just got to make it a few more times around this racetrack. So you see Snellweg going by the lap car. That's a Renault. I think that is Gizlodian there. He's running in 15th. So Gizlodian just not having the best of days here. Let's take a look now at Racing Podge, actually. It looks like he's starting to gain on Fanny Line in the Red Bull, and going underneath him in the DRS zone, and will he clear him? Yes, he does! Going through the dirt, but Racing Podge still able to make the move on Fanny Line. So Racing Podge moved him up into 4th. Now has his sights set on Shadow Lancer up there in 3rd. 1.7 seconds separating those two drivers, though. But he might just be able to get him. This is why he fitted those soft tires. He wanted the fastest lap. He does not have it at the time being, but he is nonetheless able to pick his way through the field. He's already so very close to Shadow Lancer. He can taste the podium. So Racing Podge still getting close to Shadow Lancer here. Just kind of been riding on board with him, letting you see what he's doing. But he's caught him now. He has caught him now. Around that high banked right-hander, there's going to be DRS zone here. He's going to have it. He's going to use it. He's going to get through. Is he going to be able to pass him, though? He's going on the inside. He is looking. Are they going to be side by side in the turn 1? Yes, they are side by side. Ferrari and Williams. A little bit of contact there. Racing Podge, though, moving up ahead of Shadow Lancer, but only just Shadow Lancer battling back on the outside. Now the inside going through this left-hander. Racing Podge, though, using the banking to go up high around him, but not able to do so. So Shadow Lancer going to stay in 3rd. Racing Podge going to have to regroup and try once more. Lap 34 of 36. The clock is ticking. The laps are winding down. Shadow Lancer's doing a good job at defending Racing Podge. I'll tell you that right now. Racing Podge, though, has the DRS. This is where he made the move last time, but he's not close enough to do it this time. He still sends it! And he gets a time penalty for multiple warnings. I saw that one coming. I saw that one coming, definitely. There was no way he was going to be able to make that corner stick. So Racing Podge in 4th, and I do believe he's going to stay there. I think Shadow Lancer might have just earned himself a 3rd place finish regardless of what happens. Racing Podge, though, still going to fight back at him. Bannister now a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Bannister running in 7th. Lap 35 of 36 now, and there was contact there going into that corner, so Racing Podge has lost part of his front wing. So Racing Podge definitely not going to get a podium now. He's lost part of his front wing and dropping back significantly to Shadow Lancer. So Unfortunate there for Racing Posh. Just not quite able to get the job done on that podium. Going through the gravel. Just barely keeping it off the wall there. But now look at how much understeer he is having to deal with. No front downforce, no grip in those front tires. He is just in for a hell of a ride. Let's take a look now at Snellweg. He has started his final lap. Going down into turn 1, Snellweg has a 2.5 second lead on Hookie there in second place. Just a few more corners to go. There you see Hookie will ride on board with him. You can just barely see Snellweg up there. Hookie, though, not going to be able to make a move on him. He could put a rocket ship on the back of that thing, still not able to do anything with it. Just those hard tires going to not be able to have enough speed. They don't have enough grip. Snellweg with significantly newer medium tires. This was the two-stop strategy that Snellweg took versus the one-stop that a lot of other drivers did. So Hookie took a one-stop. Shadowlancer took a one-stop. Racing Podge originally tried to do a one-stop before deciding to pit for soft tires to try to get the fastest lap. So a lot of them trying the one-stop strategy here, but it did not work. It got him into second. It got him into third. It did not get him in the lead because the two-stop strategy was the one that got him in the lead. Snellweg will cross the line in first and win the Dutch Grand Prix for the GP4 Series Speed Force Racing League. Hookie going to come in second in that AlphaTauri. Shadowlancer in third. He's just got to round the final few corners. He's very far back. And there you see it now. Shadowlancer crossing the line in third, a podium position for him. Racing Podge and Sonic Hawk, fourth and fifth. But after time penalties, that puts Fanny Lion up into fourth, Sonic Hawk in fifth, Racing Podge in the sixth position. Where will Bannister come? Bannister 7th, Psychomich in 8th. Energy Dan looks like he's going to be able to get 9th. He does have a time penalty, I do believe. Will that affect him? Yes, it does. So DJ Clarkson going to finish in 9th. Energy Dan just barely getting the points in 10th. 7th, 1987 in 11th. 12th is You Can Beat Me Kara in 13th. 14th, Proliver. It does look like he's going to finish there. Yes, he does. Crossing the line now. 14th for Proliver. Gizlodian in 15th. Need for Speed going to come in 16th. Looks like Gamey Things is going to be scored in 17th. Even though he's right there next to Hookie. So did Gamey Things actually get a podium or not? There has been some issues with the scoring, so that might be the case. We'll have to wait and see. So we'll see Gamey Things cross the line now. I think we're going to have to run this clock out. So it's going to be a 1 minute, 10 second wait before we actually get to finish this race. And before we see who finished where. So going to have to go dark here for just a minute, guys. Bear with me. I do apologize. But without a co-com, I got to get the interviews, or attempt to get the interviews ready. So for just a few more seconds, I'm sorry you have to deal with this, but now we're going to go back to the race here. All right, here in just a moment, I got to go black one more time. So I am still here, but trying to get the... Just trying to get all the interviews situated here. So now let's go back to the broadcast officially. There you see the podium celebrations. We will get the official running order here in just a moment. So here is your official finishing positions for the Speed Force Racing Series GP4 Series Dutch Grand Prix. Snelweg in first, Hookie in second, Shadowlancer in third, Fanny Lion in fourth, Sonicock in fifth, Racing Podge in 6th, Bannister in 7th, Psychomich in 8th, 9th is DJ Clarkson, Energy Dan in 10th, Sanath in 11th, 12th is You Can Beat Me, 13th is Kara in 14th, Proliver, Gizlodian in 15th, 16th is Need for Speed, Gamey Things in 17th, 18th is Kvyat Torpedo Kenzo, and 19th, rounding out the grid there. So a few bad days, a few good days, but our podium finishers of Snelweg, Hookie, and Shadowlancer we will be able to talk to here in just a few minutes' time. Sounds like we already got Shadowlancer in here.
Yeah.
Hello, Shadowlancer. Looks like you are absolutely jumping for joy on a podium finish.
Oh yeah, I needed that. in Australia I showed a really good pace, but couldn't quite get that podium to show for it. But after that bad race in Bahrain with the wheel, China missed, and that disappointing end to China, really happy with that one. But in all honesty, I don't mind waiting for the top two to be interviewed first.
Alright. So Shadowlancer going to invite his fellow podium finishers. But while you're here, Shadowlancer, I do kind of want to get your thoughts on the race. I noticed that you took a one-stop strategy, and it actually ended up working out for you. So was there ever any doubt in your mind that you should not go for the one-stop strategy, or is that just what you planned on from the get-go?
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of planned it, because in China I was kind of hoping to hold. I was holding out for a safety car to go on the two-stop, but it didn't happen, so I had to go on the one-stop. Obviously, we saw how that worked out, but this time, it was. Going on a one-stop at Zandvoort is risky because of how narrow the track is. Accidents could happen at any time, and safety cars could come out. But luckily it was really calm today. Got my strategy right, kept it nice and disciplined, and got the job done.
Well, that's how you do it. It's not a win, but it is third. It's a podium, and it's a good points day for you. Yeah,
I'm really happy with that. Obviously, it gives me a confidence boost after a frustrating first 4 races, but even so, hopefully this is going to be the first of many good results to come for this season.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. The season is still young, so there's still plenty of time to claw your way up through the point standings.
Yeah, indeed. It's not the best of starts of the season, but the result today should really help me get my confidence boost up. Obviously, make up for lost ground, and move on from there. And also, I'd like to apologise to Podge, because I was defending hard from him, and then I was ending very hard. At one point, he ended up losing a bit of his front wings, so I'll put my hand up and say that I was I'll take the blame for that. Just defending hard for that third place, but hey, it happens. Main thing is I got the job done.
Yeah, sometimes racing deals do happen. Still waiting on Snelweg to get in the party here, but we will turn our attention to Hookie now, our second place finisher. So Hookie in the AlphaTauri, you qualified, up there around the top half of the field, and you didn't really make a lot of noise during the race, but you were just able to run your own race and stay out of trouble and get by with a second place finishing position on a one-stop strategy. So is that what you planned, or did you ever think about going on a two-stop, because Racing Podge did initially go on a two-stop after Snelweg took the lead?
Yeah, I qualified 6th, so it was quite low down. I had a shoddy third sector, because we knew the rain was coming in. I just couldn't get a grip on the rear of the car, which led me to 6th. I wasn't complaining about 6th place, mind. It's a decent turnaround. But yeah, no, my plan was all the time one stop. I knew that I could do the one stop. That's what I've been practicing for through the week. It was just a matter of keeping myself clean and just delivering the lap times lap after lap. I was fortunate to be battling with the two Ferraris for a certain time, but then towards the end, Racing Podge took a dive bomb perfectly fine. But yeah, it left me open to Snellweg as well then. And defending is okay, but catching around this track is a different story. You've got to be brave to overtake around here, and it's paid off for Snellweg. So congratulations to him, and well done to Tom, who's finally got his first podium.
Thank you. Much needed, and also congratulations to you. Back-to-back podiums, mate.
Yeah, cheers, bud.
Yeah.
Well, I would definitely say that a P6 to P2 result is successful. Maybe wanting that one spot higher, but sometimes you just got to go for a good points day, and that's what you were able to get, Hookie. So congratulations to you. Going to turn my attention now to Snellweg. In the McLaren, you have dominated this season more or less. If it's not a win, it is a podium or really close to it. Tell me about the two-stop strategy that you decided to do, because most drivers took a one-stop. What made you decide that you would go on a two-stop strategy, and how confident were you that it was going to work? Because I'll be honest, I was questioning it there for a while.
Yeah, it was a really close call. The lap I went into the pits, I changed it to another set of soft tires. I don't know what, I think the decision came from that I like to be the car chasing instead of being chased. So I just went for it, and same as you, I had my doubts when I wasn't catching guys fast enough to make it work. But luckily, in the end, I did make it work. So I'm happy with the result, of course.
Well, it is a good points day for you, and you increase your points lead with this win, and your nearest competitor, DJ Clarkson, I do not believe even scored points, so you might have another competitor in second place behind you. Now, going into these next races, are you thinking more about race wins or just points? Because race wins obviously give you points, but what's on the forefront of your mind?
Yeah, of course, I hope to score as many points as possible. Spain and Monaco are up next, not really the best tracks for me, so I hope I can just score as many points as I can.
Well, that is definitely the name of the game. There's the battles, and then there's the war. Today you won the battle, and it's helping you win the war. So that's all I've got for you guys. Congratulations to the podium finishers of Snellweg, Hookie, and Shadowlancer. Good points day for all three of you. Hope to see you back in action next week. But that'll do it for our broadcast here today. So thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, good evening, good day, good morning, good night. Have fun, and goodbye.
Love that.